Welcome. Let me get my volume right. Yeah, let's turn my headphones down a lot.
Yeah, me too, please.
Well, welcome. We've got another amazing match for you. Get to see the best players in the world. Sitting next to me, Darren Frank, one of the original promoter of this particular event.
Oh, we don't need titles in here, Jerry.
We don't need titles. Well, go ahead and just chop it in from the back rail. Looks like he got himself pretty straight. So now he's got two nice break balls. It looks like he can come into the 8 or that 12 in the back. We're looking at Albin Ouschan shooting. Konrad broke the balls and one leaked out. You know, it's amazing. These German players, they play straight pool.
A lot of it.
Real well.
Well, I heard him say in an interview once, somebody asked him how he practiced and if he did drills or he did anything else, and he said, all I do is practice a break and play straight pool.
Well, let me say something about that shot right there. I mean, he missed it, which everybody's entitled to do. But one of the things you're going to see about Albin is he's going down swinging.
Absolutely.
He's taking a shot to open those balls, get them all in the wide open, and run the set out on you, run the game out on you.
Well, and despite the fact that you can play safe, it is an offensive game by nature. I think that you have to shoot a lot of balls like that to win, that you can't win playing safe all the time. You have to.
Yeah, because you actually have to get 125 points to win the game. Okay, so Konrad's up at the table. As you know, Konrad is one of the players, great player from Poland that has won this event a few years ago.
He did. He was in my bracket that year, and he was very unkind to me in the round robin stages. So, well acquainted with his skill at the table. A really fast player, fun to watch, left-handed. But they play pool in the schools in Poland. So
Straight pool.
They do. There are quite a few. I think we have 3 players from Poland this year. Victor Solinsky, Konrad Juszczyszyn, I think, and one more, Fortuński. All great players.
That was an interesting choice. He chose to go into the balls there. I mean, you know, he could have easily not come up with a shot, but he felt like he had enough insurance with those balls in the side pocket. And
well, I think you're seeing that too in the younger players, and maybe if they primarily play the rotation games, that they tend to go into the balls a lot, whereas, you know, maybe other players wouldn't elect to do that quite as frequently.
You know, he actually got a little squirrely here.
He did. He definitely did. I don't know that he can see the 3.
He's going to be fine.
Well, he's a big margin for error.
Oh.
That commentator's curse.
Well,
some early jitters, Jerry. Is that what we're seeing here?
No, I feel fine. I'm not nervous.
I also feel quite comfortable in the booth here.
You know, and now Albin is thrilled to be back at the table. He's going to take his time and make sure to pocket this next ball. But he's kind of on top of ball. Got to back cut the four ball a little bit blind. You know, you can hit the point. This can be missed. I think one of the things that you see these great players, and we always think they're going to just run a giant number on you every time they get to the table. But that's really not how straight pool goes generally. You know, every time you see one of these guys miss a balls, to me, it's just a testimony of how hard this freaking game is.
Absolutely.
As Mark Wilson says, there's no easy shots because you're always trying to do something with the cue ball, fit it into some hole, do something to get on the next shot. You just cannot take it lightly. Well, how's your tournament experience been so far? You played one match?
Me?
You didn't play this year.
I am not playing this year.
Oh my gosh, that's right. You decided to give the field a reprieve.
I did. I thought they needed
This is the first year you haven't played.
Yep, true, in quite some years. So, it's nice though. It's nice to just commentate and hang out and see friends. You know, not that really I felt much pressure anyway, because I wasn't going to be running away with any titles. But
well,
and this is kind of interesting.
Albin
too.
clearly, as the 14 is going to be his break ball. That kind of looked like it was probably going to be his key ball, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought originally. I made a hand gesture in the booth for
Yeah,
Jerry's benefit, but
this is a little bit unorthodox. It looks like he's probably going to, you know, looks like he's using the 6 ball as a key ball, which is.
and he must just feel comfortable he can make that combination without any chance of the 6 ball leaking up the rail a little bit and making that difficult.
Yeah, playing the combination, this can get real weird. I think he's going to play the 13.
Play the carom?
No, he's just going to dink into the 13 and hold.
Oh, and play it that way.
Yeah, and come across.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know why I thought he was going to go lower and play it the other way. It's interesting, though. A lot of players don't like to come from underneath.
Now, this is an Albin Ouschan break shot right here.
Absolutely.
He's going to pound this ball.
He
going
does
to powder
like
it right into the pocket.
He does like to hit this one hard. It's interesting, though. I'm seeing a variety of styles when it comes to English on the break shot like this, that there are players that will hit these exclusively with low English, and then you've got people that are a little more comfortable playing with the different spins on these.
I think he's going to force follow it with some right English. You know, this interesting about this shot is if you're playing on new cloth, this is not particularly new cloth. This is pretty well worn. You play on new cloth, you can hit this with force follow, and it'll hook around and dodge that scratch. Mm-hmm. On a table like this, that was a foul. Did that not sound like a double hit, like a foul?
I think that was just the ball jumping like that.
Wow. Well, that was violent. Is
Yeah,
what it was.
he did hit those quite hard, and he got a really spectacular result. Other than the fact that I don't know if he can see the 5 ball until I don't, or how easy that 8 is. Okay, so a spectacular result because he has a hanger. So
yeah, no balls touching. He's got the 4 balls. A great break shot. I think the 6 might be too. I don't think it's too low. I think it's fine. He's got key balls everywhere. This is
all over the place.
This is beautiful. You know, there's a million ways to play a pattern like this, and there's not many that are just flat wrong. But at some point, when he's eliminated the balls, he's going to get down and decide what is key ball and break balls. The key ball at 3 in the side, rolling it straight in the side and having the 4, great break shot. Or even one of those balls, the 5 or 10, are on that side, and the 6 is a great break shot. So it just depends what he chooses to do here.
And how much of it do you think he's even deciding on now? Because it seems to me that they don't really fall in love with break balls, that they are willing to shoot them off if necessary, or change the plan kind of midway. And
like right now, that's a very good point. One of the beginning challenges of people trying to learn straight pull is they do fall in love with break shots, and they start working the pattern around that, and they don't realize that there's very, very simple things that they could do. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that you notice about these champions. They'll just abandon that break shot in a heartbeat and be on to something real easy.
And also that they can always make the right shot, whereas I feel like sometimes the right shot may present a bigger challenge for somebody like me when I'm playing through the racks, and so it changes a little where the way that they play, I don't know that I can always play that way necessarily, so may have to make some compromise, because in the end I have to shoot the ball I can make, right? So
yeah, the number 1 rule in straight pull is don't miss.
Don't miss.
Yeah, you can.
That is an important one.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, you can, if you don't miss, you can find a way to play safe or find a way to do something rather than turn the table over with balls wide open and a free shot.
Well, it does seem like the difference at this level, and doesn't matter, I think, which game it is, whether it's this or a short rack rotation game, that it's not necessarily the person who makes the most of those extraordinary shots that ends up winning. It's the person that doesn't make the obvious mistake, that they don't miss balls that they're supposed to make. Right?
Yeah, boy, if you get good enough to always make the balls you're supposed to, you're about to be a world champion.
Absolutely. What's that consistency, right?
Well, this is interesting. There are definite situations where they'll choose to take a little bit, when the balls are down to 4 or 5, they'll take a shot that's a little more difficult that will allow that final pattern to be a cupcake.
Right. I think he was comfortable with that because he was going into the 7, so he had quite a lot of room for error there.
Yeah, I mean, he most likely he's going to roll down to by the spot and just dab that 3 ball right in the side and have a perfect break shot on the 4. See there, he's going to roll forward just a little bit. He's going to have a perfect break ball. Oh, we choose to come to the top. And he's beautiful. Another thin break shot. They love these, you know, because as they're coming, the cue ball is coming right into the side of the rack, and it minimizes the chance of scratching by a large degree. But it's a back cut, and to, you know, most players, it's a missable ball. It's a blind back cut.
Yeah, I think it's a good example of what I was mentioning, just because he's so confident that he's going to make this ball that it doesn't present that much of a challenge for him, whereas for me, this is a more intimidating shot.
Yeah.
So, and to your point, I mean, it's going to have so much momentum. The good thing about these, you don't have to hit them quite so hard. I'm sure everybody knows when you try to hit a ball harder, it increases your chances of missing. And so on these, you know, he doesn't really need to kill this. He does anyway and gets a nice little force follow.
Yeah, force follow grabbed real nice. Again, no balls touching each other. Yeah, I mean, I love the confidence level that these guys come with. I mean, every shot they're planning to run the game out. You get to play none. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I mean, think about it. You play a race to 3, playing 1 pocket or something. I mean, you're going to get 40 shots. This one, you may get 1, you may get none, you may get 6. So it's a lot of fun when you're the guy doing all the shooting.
I feel like it's better from that perspective than the perspective of the chair, which I have been in against this very person who I think ran 110 or so against me, and so I did not do very much shooting against him.
Looks like the 2-8 goes fine. I thought it was that 8 bound up in a funny spot, but he's fine. He's going to just alleviate that right now.
It is nice to watch them do that too, where generally they identify the problems pretty early in the rack and just go after them.
Oh, he got a clean shot right at the 8. Yeah, this is the situation where people think, oh, straight pool's easy. It's just a bunch of just easy shots, you know. Yeah. Try it.
Well, it's nice. You know, I like a little bit of back and forth in these matches, so we get to commentate also because you get to see some of the contrasts and styles. And a lot of times, if you have somebody that's more of an experienced straight pool and pattern player, that you'll see how much sort of easier they make their own life. Whereas if somebody's less experienced at the patterns, they can get out, but you know, they make life a lot harder on themselves, and so eventually that catches up with them. You know.
Yeah, when it's really going well, it's the most beautiful thing. Now we did see 125 and out. Fedor
he ran out.
Around 125, and then I was playing my last match. I didn't get to see Shane.
Shane ran 210.
210. Which is the high run of the life of this event, I believe.
So far. So it's, just so everybody knows, if you are on a run of 100 or greater at the time your match ends, then you may continue. So if you run 99 balls to win, you do not get to, but 100 and you can keep going. So he was, at that time, I think, a little over 100, maybe 120 or so, and then went on to run another almost 100 balls. Shane's a great straight pool player. I remember watching him a couple of years ago, and it seemed like
he's become
his patterns needed some,
pool player.
Could have been improved somewhat, but it's obvious he's a student of the game and really improved his patterns. That I commentated his match earlier against Dennis Graba and was really, really impressed. I mean, he plays the game beautifully. And
Here
so
we are,
Albin,
little 9-ball dab into the side. And
I think we all know Albin from having couple world 9-ball titles and rotation titles, but I think he has some European Games medals also in straight pools. Very accomplished, always does well in this tournament. How's your tournament going so far, Jerry? You are playing this year.
I am playing this year. I played John Laura, and he played great and put a barbecue on me. And then I just won my last match and put a barbecue on that guy. And it was a weird match. I'm telling you, the balls are real clingy, and it's getting humid in here, and just couldn't run balls, but just didn't miss and kept, you know, some safeties are working out. This is the craziest game. One of the most fascinating things about the game is you're going to see great players miss balls 2 inches from the hole, balls that you just did not think possible. This game will make you do it.
I tend to take a lot for granted, you know. Or
oh, there you go.
That's pretty. Ball slides off the rack with that much draw, going to the side rail like that. I mean, what he's worried about there is scratching, I think. To put draw on it like that to prevent it from sliding, because the natural path of the, when you have a shallow angle break shot like that, and then the natural path of the cue ball coming off the side of the rack will take it right toward that bottom corner pocket. So
now let's watch how he clears these balls, and most likely will never touch another ball.
Yeah, and I think that's how you know.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's how you know you're dealing with a stud. If he does run into something, it's going to be perfectly safe or possibly even an intentional nudge.
When he won't do it without some sort of safety or
right,
other ball that he can shoot. I think people do that too. They just like play too cute, one ball position. And
oh yeah, the pink ball and that brown, whatever, the 7 and the 5. I guess it's orange. Those both clear. It's the only thing that's remotely, you know, close to another ball. So he was thinking about nudging that 1 right there, but he wanted my prediction to come true, so he made sure to not touch anything.
I do think it was that. He didn't want to disappoint you, Jerry. We told him before this that we were going to say that, and that, you know, it was up to him not to.
You gotta love guys that play along.
Nudge any balls. So we appreciate you, Albin. Thank you very much. Great player as well as a gentleman.
That 6 ball that's up table very likely might be the second to last ball. He may use that because it connects so well to that 9 on the side.
And I think to a lot of people it may have looked like that was his best break ball, but like not being married to it and understanding the flexibility of the pattern, and then realizing he's got easier ways to get on other balls.
The orange ball is great. The 13 is great. So, yeah, well, there, you just ruined it. Now the orange is actually a little bit better. A lot of players like break balls that are a little bit farther away from the rack. It does eliminate scratches quite a bit. When the cue ball gets too close to the rack, it does what's often called chasing it. It'll hit the stack, and the cue ball will chase it right into the pocket and scratch. So this is a great way to, you know, putting a little distance is a much better way to control your cue ball. So I guess he's going to go 6, then 9, and you use this ball off the rail, which is, I guess, the 14. He'll achieve a perfect little angle to put him right out in the middle of the table.
I also feel like the tendency of the game used to be to pick around the rack and knock a couple balls off here and there, and we're sort of in the era of the power game where you want to crush them and try and knock them all open. And
you know, that little shot right there, it has to be hit good. You can't get straight in on that ball, and you can't get too much angle. It's perfect. Little coast, straight out to the middle of the table. And you get to powder this one right into the pocket. Well, this is having all the earmarks of Konrad not getting to play.
I feel like I say that early in these runs sometimes, and then you just never know. It takes so little. It is such a game of millimeters that you get a little bit out of line and it can all come crashing down.
Yeah. The enemies of straight pool runs are skids, scratches, funny little glue behind a ball, kisses, just things that no matter how good you're playing, the balls can conspire against you in your dreams. Pow.
That's perfect. Cue ball center of the table. Nice spread. I mean, he has a little cluster in the middle. It's not going to be a problem for him, or shouldn't be. A little work to do on that right-hand side to clear that out, and I think that's what he's thinking about probably. It's just how he wants to attack that. I think we'll pretty quickly see him come over, get on that 9 ball.
And another thing for beginning players to remember always that little cluster that's in the middle of the table, oftentimes you remove the 8 and now suddenly the other balls go. Or the other thing to remember is that when you go into those balls, you barely got to tap them. They're just going to open up. One of the mistakes that new players generally make is they go into the balls. See, it just takes a tiny little tap. They go into the balls too soon
and too hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's on like Donkey Kong here. I kind of look to him to shoot the 6. Just roll forward and unclog that little area just a tiny bit more.
Can you see it? It's hard to tell from the side.
Oh, maybe the one has it.
Yeah, I think
get up on top of the balls.
I think a lot of people would have stayed under there also. Maybe come across and try to shoot the 11 or 7, take some of those balls underneath there. You'll see some different preferences. Some players really like to do that first.
Kind of work in zones.
But I think you see him now. I mean, can he shoot the 9? From here, he has a lot.
I think he's going to shoot those balls up table and just give him another look. Just get out into the middle. And he's intending to get on the 13, but it's just another free look at cue ball position. Now,
yeah, it'd be interesting to leave that ball. I mean, it's sort of a safety in a certain way, where if, I think if that ball were down on the middle of the end rail or something like that, he would want to get rid of it as close as, or as soon as possible. But because of where it's positioned in the middle of the table, it can sometimes be a bit of a safety for him.
Something that he can go back up to in case things get
And it's
funny.
not hard to go get at, and may in fact become a good key ball depending on what happens. So I think that's why he'd leave that. I heard somebody ask that earlier of Joshua Filler. A couple balls went up table, and they said, don't you want to go get them immediately? And he said, not really. There's a nice little cluster up there. They're easy enough to get to, and so I'm just not worried about it now.
He's real confident in his speed control and moving the cue ball around. He's doing it effortlessly. Again, rolling that 15 in the side, the 2 balls, beautiful break shot. It's right-handed for a right-handed player.
And his speed does seem improved. It always impresses me how fast they adjust at the table, because it is clear conditions change a little bit, table slows up a little bit.
See this type of shot here where he rolled that ball in now, he's going to be able to shoot that 11. And this is ideal because the 8, the 1, the 6 all go in this right-hand pocket. I mean, his position zone is huge. He came actually a tiny bit short. Looks like he's perfect, but if he would have been another inch shorter and then was caused to hit one of those balls, that would have been very bad. But if he'd had got up 6 inches, he would have had pick of 3.
Right.
And not touch any other balls.
I wonder if he'll pull this back and come out, or what he'll do. I think if he was up a little farther too and wanted to shoot it, he may stay under and shoot one of those balls up table, but I'd be a little surprised if we see him do that here.
What do you think Konrad's thought process is right now? Do you think he's slowly, the more balls they make, the more confidence they lose? Or is it just literally just take it as it comes? If I get a shot, I run out. If I don't,
I feel like that's probably the difference between the amateur and the pro, where somebody like me sitting in the chair with every shot inventing ways for him to miscue or scratch or hang a ball or do something like that. And
right.
I mean, A1, it's kind of mentally exhausting, and 2, doesn't really get you anywhere. I think that to get to this level of competition, you've got to be pretty acrimonious about that, where I think you just have to sit in the chair and say, well, when I get up, I'll do my best, and until then, I can't do anything about it, so I just have to sit here.
He played an interesting shot right there, that shot into the side, and he pulled his cue ball into the position where he has position on both balls, on that 6 or on that 13. So he had choices. Could have gone either way. Would have been perfectly
Well,
reasonable.
and actually, most amazingly about this entire rack is that he is going to use the ball I predicted for his key ball.
And and that was the worst key ball on the table.
100% it was, and so
It does not look like he's going to lose any sleep over it.
he'll be just fine, I'm sure. I mean, it's one of the benefits of this. I think it's a non-ideal key ball. So he has to. Oh, he was on the other side of it, so fine.
Yeah, he got on the right side.
Yeah, I think he would like to have a little more angle and be a little closer to the rail, but I'm sure he will find a way to make this work okay.
We were talking about their mindset a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've been very good friends with many of these players for decades. And I know Torsten is a really good friend of yours. And I don't know, do you guys talk about that kind of stuff or how?
I do. I asked him, and he said he basically just tries not to think about it, or he thinks about. My father asked him one time. He said, "What do you think about when you're sitting in the chair and the other guy's running balls?" And he said, "World peace." I mean, I think his point was just that you can't think about it. It just upsets you, right? And it doesn't accomplish anything.
Boy, that was a nice roll.
Yeah.
He
got a very friendly bump there.
Yeah, that was one of those weird situations where the balls kind of came apart and right back into each other.
Mm-hmm.
But he's gonna pick through these. Now, we got to see Albin operate with all the balls wide open. Now we're going to get to see him put some real straight pull skills together and weave around this this clump with, there's open shots, but they have to be picked off in order, and you can't just make your work worse with every move.
Right.
So this is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I wonder how he's thinking about getting into these.
I don't know, does that 4-ball go?
From here?
Can he get past the 8? I have no idea. I don't think so.
From this
it might be that 3-ball is the only real shot. He's looking at that combination. If that pink and 14 lined up into the side, dead into the side pocket, that would be
8-ball.
That would be a wonderful thing.
A little 4-ball combo. I like it. Show some fireworks here.
No, that combination lined up.
Oh, into the side.
Into the side.
Very nice. With authority.
Powered right through him.
And I think that's it.
Okay, so we're not going to get to see him massage around the delicate little rack.
Got a little bit of massaging left to do, but I think that something he does really well that I really respect is picks his spots really well and then commits to what he's doing, and it's one of the many things that make him such a great player and great to watch.
Yeah, you're right. There's not indecision.
Right.
He's not split-minded.
When
Once he makes a decision, he goes. That's a great lesson.
I feel like it's something a lot of us suffer from a bit, where, especially in this game where you have so many options, and then it's still in your head a little bit, where it's hard to make perfect decisions every time when you're at the table. So if you bring that into the shot, it's going to increase your likelihood of
being split-minded. Yeah, we all have done that, where didn't know whether to follow or draw, so you did both.
I don't know if we're talking about pool or life anymore, Jerry.
Well, now aren't they just so similar?
I think he's probably going to take this ball off the table, don't you think? I mean, it's a little bit too good not to.
This is, yeah.
So, I mean, there are people that say don't shoot balls up table, but
no, it just solved. It just really solved so many problems. But especially on these diamonds, you cut your rail, you can hang that thing.
Absolutely.
But
well, I think that never.
They don't believe in catching the rail and missing.
That's certainly not Albin Ouschan. I mean, it does impress me consistently that they'll have something, and I'm just thinking, how are you going to get out of that? And then 3 shots later, all the balls are open and all the problems are solved, and it's pretty amazing to watch.
Here's a delicate little speed shot. I think he's just going to pull kind of back up where he is and try to get on that, possibly on the 8, but mainly on the 10. I don't think he would
spin this out the other way.
I think he's a little too steep. There's a chance. He's trying to go. He'd love to go with some inside English, but there's a chance he'd hit the 8.
Yeah, fair. It's hard to tell from here.
He might run into the 4 and just dab it up and get into the middle.
Oh, interesting. You don't think he was trying to hit the 6-9 there, do you?
No, I just think he was trying to just get out into the open. The 6-9 doesn't have to be hit. They
both go.
Yeah.
Well,
The six definitely does,
So
and they're both actually in great break ball position. So now he can play the 8 and get back up on top of those balls. These balls all kind of go into that right side pocket too. So once he gets on that 13, I hope he gets. Well, he gets me to play the 11.
I mean, I think one of the other keys to this game too
the
is
9 will disturb the 6, which he's not going to do that. So
yeah, I
he
think
can
he'll
play
want
the
to shoot
11.
the 6 off first, so he doesn't have to disturb anything.
Yeah, no, so those balls go into the side. Maybe I don't know, I can't see how straight he is, but if he can just roll that ball in to the side and then be able to dislodge that 6 ball without disturbing anything, would be ideal.
Yeah, he'll have a very nice break ball there in the 9.
Right.
And then I will have to pick the most unlikely key ball on the table. So
which is the
maybe
which is the 13.
I was not going to pick the 13.
Yeah, the 13 is the worst key ball there, because you just bouncing off that rail, you just have to get too good.
I don't hate that too much, though, because when you go to the rail for a position like that, you sort of have double the margin of error almost, as long as you don't get straight.
Well,
just like
now he
don't
can
get straight. I should have
think
picked
he wanted to be a little straighter on this ball because he was going to come under his break ball. So there's a chance he has to come all the way to the other side. Oh no, he had a good aim. Just come right under it. Good. Looks like he's going to just draw. Is he drawing straight up to his position? Yep. Beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice. That's where extraordinarily good speed control really helps you out.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, these tables are pretty well worn, but they're all evenly worn.
Right.
So how do they do that? It doesn't seem like there's any favorite table in the pool room, because they're all playing very consistent with each other, and the cloth is worn enough that it the cue ball's gripping really nicely. It's still got good speed, but it makes the top pockets tighter. If this had brand new cloth on it, polished balls, brand new cloth, these guys are going to run even bigger numbers.
And you saw him step to the side over there and just take a look at where the tangent line is going to try and make a prediction about where the cue ball is going to hit the rack. So I find that quite interesting, because I feel like he could have followed straight through the corner, but he really prefers to draw.
He really does.
And some of that is just personal preference. Obviously it's working quite well for him. He's on a run of, he ran from 0, right? So he's on a run of 81 balls. So he's doing just fine. But the preference piece of that equation, that some people would have wanted to go through the model in the rack.
So I always wonder who the demographic is that watches these matches on YouTube, the life of the matches, or they're watching them live. Are they dedicated straight pool players, or are they people that are investigating the game? And do the players that are watching, do they know how freaking hard this is to do?
I don't think so, really. I mean, most of the criticisms I see of this game are that it's easy because you can shoot any ball, so I'm not particularly sure, honestly, although if it were easy, I suppose more people could do it. But if you are just joining us, this is the American 14.1 Straight Pool Championship. We're here in Chesapeake, Virginia at Q Master Billiards, which I think is the biggest room in the country, right? 75 tables.
75 tables.
Enormous in here. Great food, nice place. If you are anywhere in the area, viewing is free. You've got some nice stadium seating down here. You can see a lot of the great matches on great tables. You can also follow the scores of all the matches on qscore.com. If you search for 14.1, it will pop right up there at the top, and you can check on all the brackets, all the scores. We've got 48 players, 8 brackets of 6. Everybody will play round robin, where you play the 5 other people in your bracket, and then we move to a single elimination with the final 24.
Sounds like you've done this before.
Once or twice. Yes.
Or 15
Or
times.
15 times. I'm happy to be here in the booth with Jerry, who not only is quite a great straight pool player himself, but maker and purveyor of, in my opinion, the prettiest cues out there. So,
And I think your opinion is all that should count.
I also agree with that, funnily enough.
Well, thank you for the plug. It's been a great business, and it affords me to do fun things like this. So I can go play straight pool and beat my head up against the greatest players in the world and call it a business
I was
expense.
going to say, I don't know what participating in something like this is, slightly masochistic or considered fun, but
I think most players would play these 2 balls up table right now.
I think so too, but I just don't know that
and
he's
get it down to just playing.
worried about them. And I think if he has a good angle to clear up some of these down here, he won't try and create another angle.
Now he can stop on this brown ball. Play the 11. No, he don't mind. He doesn't mind him.
I don't think he minds. I think he's going to go there for a key ball.
Now he has to play the brown and then the 11 and use the 8 as the key ball.
But he's in good shape here. He hasn't really been in any real trouble this whole time.
No trouble.
Which, keeping yourself out of trouble, I mean, again, pool and life, right? But I'm really selling the straight pool philosophy of things, aren't I?
That's right. The life lessons by way of 14-1. Well, this is what they call perfect position. You know you're playing a good straight pool player when every time they come into the break ball, it's the perfect medium speed shot.
Mm-hmm.
The pocket's the largest. They can hit it really bad and still make it. And their cue ball is just on a string. Yeah, he's really a very delicate, sophisticated player until this shot comes up.
Until the shot, and then he just murders the break
Just
ball.
murders
I
it.
think he's saving it up for the whole rack,
Right.
and then just
there's
crushes
a lot
this.
of internal rage that comes out here.
It's all the composure. I mean, he's very composed
Now,
at the table, but
everybody calls this the Torsten break shot. Holman's break shot.
oh, the draw, the up table draw.
the up table draw. But he really he's had really such great angles that he's kept it right down table.
Oh, there he goes. I've
he
been wanting him to do that.
He did the smooth
I've
follow
been wanting
right
to do that the whole run. So it was a very pretty shot, obviously, and I'm glad he did it. Appreciate him cooperating and us wanting to show you other varieties of things we've only been talking about to this point, unable to demonstrate. But
Isn't it interesting? He just saw to the naked eye, you didn't see anything different. It was just a break ball, but he saw exactly the way the balls moved, and that follow would just take him right out and around. That's just amazing amount of experience.
the other thing I really like about Albin's game is just that he plays with a really nice cadence. That he's very smooth at the table, but he just has a nice cadence, makes him nice to watch. Whereas I think some players will play 5 shots really fast and a couple shots really slow.
Yeah.
And kind of take a lot of time.
Yeah, this game is more dependent on momentum than I think any other game.
I think right there
he's going to use that 3 ball right now. He's shooting this ball and then shooting the 13. Or no, I guess it's the 9.
He's just
It's the 9.
Right, shoot the 9 and
So now he can drift right up, use that 3 ball to open that little cluster.
Well, I think there what he's looking at is he's trying to pick exactly the side of the ball that he's going to hit, instead of just trying to hit the cluster, which would be more in line with my strategy. You know.
Oh, he went into him there.
Yeah, and he did not mean to hit there. I think he.
That's interesting that he went into him. I'm surprised he didn't just come up and use the 3-ball.
I mean, it worked out actually really perfectly for him. But
it did, but you just can't underestimate the power of knowing you're not going to miss.
Right.
You know, just figuring, oh, well, it kind of doesn't matter where I get because I'm going to make the next ball.
Right, right.
What it would be like to live life like that.
I know. So if Albin gets out of this rack, he will be within 2 racks.
Just up to the middle of the table. Here we go.
Are you going to be upset when he leaves the ball next to the 8-ball for the key ball?
No. Actually, those are really good. Those little pairs like that are really good because it's hard to get in a place where one of them doesn't work well as a key ball to the other one.
Exactly.
They're really, as it sits right now, you can easily get position. They're great. When they're basically in line, when one is not too far ahead of the other one, that means you can pocket the ball, one of the balls, and not hit the other ball. Even if you really get out of line, you can, back cut it and go 2 rails and get back around. But he's not going to do that. He just needs to put the cue ball back where it is right now. Now he's got a nice little angle to dab to the 13 and.
Just a little stun to the railing out here.
Yeah, he got a hair straighter than he would like to, but.
Yeah, he might be able to just draw it back, but I think he'll stun it in probably.
Yeah, there it is for favorite shot. Another thing to notice is how good these guys play is because they always have the same break shots. I mean, literally, that perfect textbook Willie Mosconi break shot that you see in the books is what they have 90% of the time. I mean, there's other players that are more comfortable using different break shots and have more of a variety of break shots, but their cue ball control and pattern play is so good, they just keep coming up with the same shot. And if you haven't noticed, he's gotten good at it. So
he is quite good at that break shot.
This one he's going to powder. But again, it's farther away from the stack.
Yeah, and by pattern, I would guess he hits this ball low, but we'll have to see. This ball may come up table from there. Oh no, he was lower than I thought. So, I mean, it's just great that
they never use it.
He doesn't lose accuracy at that power.
No.
It's wild that he can hit that
He
hard.
understands the deflection and aims for it correctly. And we never use a radar gun to
we should do that. We should
to
bring in
measure
a radar
the
gun and see how
break
hard they're
speed
breaking.
in straight pull. .108. Well, something bad has to go wrong for him to not just get out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think, especially given the way those broke open too, and then the next rack, I mean, he'll be able to, if he runs out, he will be able to continue.
That was a nice shot. Just rolled right forward.
Is he a little in between though? Is he gonna?
Oh, yeah.
Take this 11 off.
Yeah, it might just pull him up into the middle of the table, but no, just dab it in the side. It's a really beautiful run. Like he said, he's never been in trouble. Just got to unthread that 5-ball from the 2-ball. And then all's well. Which, it looks like he's probably going to use, get rid of this 1 ball, get on the 14, then just roll down a little bit and get on the backside of either one of those 2 balls.
Play short side.
Yeah, just short side on the back of either one of them. Looked like he was trying to get on that ball on the side to get him on the 14 to roll back I mean, get in the back of those balls all the time, having this 6 up table, which, is a bailout in case the wheels fall off. He's just trying to get straight in on that 14. Might take him a few shots to do it, but he's going to.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons they tend to leave balls like that, is to give them more bites at the apple to get the proper angle and be able to get on balls like that are keys to the rack. Because this really is the key to him getting out here, is solving this little problem of the 2 and the 5.
Yeah, I expect him to just pocket the 14 and drift forward. Me and you've got the same barber these days.
You do.
Yep, just roll forward a little bit. I think the last position he had on that 14 just had a little bit of angle that was going to put him on the rail. So he just picked off another one to get to it.
And he went into it.
Now
It felt like he couldn't hold it.
Yeah, that's a little funny. I mean, it's going to do no harm.
I think this is the closest thing to trouble we've seen this entire match.
Closest thing
So
to
if that's
trouble.
the case, I think he should get out of this just fine.
Oh, yeah, look at this. He's going to might run into that 4 ball. Nope, didn't need to. Yeah, you got a little squirrely on this one too, but this is funny. Yeah. Got to pull out the bridge. He's going to probably have to either follow his ball to come down and get straight in on the 4. I don't think he's going to want to just pound it and stun it to the rail.
Yeah, tricky to manufacture an angle.
He's not crazy about this. I mean, who wants to be pulling the bridge out when you've had a flawless run?
Right. I'm personally glad we're seeing a little bit of drama here.
Yes, exactly. This is giving a big thrill here.
What's going to happen?
Little gentle, nice little follow spin. Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Oh man.
Oh no. Disaster strikes.
Boy, you are bad luck.
I am super bad luck.
You can ruin anybody's run.
I ruined it. And I'll have to apologize to Albin, who I personally like a lot later. I did not mean to do that, but within 7.
Wow.
So Albin Ouschan runs 118 balls, and
Wow.
now Konrad. So I mean, how difficult is this though? To your earlier point about what's he saying to himself the whole time in the chair, but then he's sat here for 45 minutes or so now, while Albin nearly won the entire match from him. Has to get up and try and come back, right?
Yeah, and you know what? To get up, that straight-in shot is missable.
100% at that point, that's a missable shot. Well, it's little stuff like this too, right? Where his, speed on that shot, or wherever he is, things like that can get out of line pretty fast, and often you'll see people miss back pretty
straight.
quickly. So here, he went a little bit far here.
He's okay. Man, you thought we were going to retire to the bar.
I did. I thought we were in for a quick one. Some other great matches going on over the floor.
Yeah.
I can see Corey Duell playing. I can see
Never heard of
playing.
him. Who else?
I can see Federer. I can see Mika Immonen
Never heard of him.
playing.
Who else?
Playing Tony Robles.
Never heard of him.
I can see Earl the Pearl Strickland
Pearl,
playing.
who is a great straight pull player.
He is.
People don't realize that. Do you know Earl is one of the very, very few straight pool players that is in the 400 club?
I did not know that Earl had run 400.
Earl has run over 400 balls playing straight pool,
It
and that
doesn't
is a
surprise
very
me.
elite group.
It doesn't surprise me in the least. Yeah, I guess the living are him. Now that I knew, I thought it, active-wise, I guess just Torsten and John.
No, also Dallas West, who's still alive,
Okay.
and Niels Fyan.
Niels broke 400.
Yes.
Sorry,
Who
Niels.
else? 440 was Miserak's high run, lifetime high run.
Mm. Yeah, I know he was a great straight
It's
pool
a
player.
very, very exclusive. Many think of one as the best ever, one of the best ever, Miserak. But it's a very exclusive group, and Earl's in that group. Any surprise? I mean,
No.
one of the greatest players of all time.
Absolutely.
Well, are we going to get to see? I wanted to talk quietly because Albin is, less than 3 feet from us. This is going to be one of those miraculous matches you hear about.
I mean, I've seen it before.
Have you?
More than once.
Have you?
Yeah. It's on a 200-point race between Mika and Torsten one year. Where, I can't remember who went first. I think Torsten broke and Mika ran like 130. And then Torsten came back and ran like 160. And then, a couple back and forth, and Torsten ran out like the rest of the balls. But it was like a 130, 160, back to back.
Just big blows, one right after another. But he is within 7 balls.
He is within 7, so essentially no margin of error whatsoever for Konrad here.
He got a little bit, I don't know, a little unfortunate or careless to have that 3 and 1.
That was brave.
Kind of bind up a little bit. That was brave.
That's very brave. So, I think
again,
now needing to come down on the short side for the 1.
Yeah, he's going to have, I don't know if he has to clear the 14 right now, but he's going to find his way onto the underside of those balls. He has an angle on the 14. He can come across the table and try to get there now.
I was going to say, I don't know if he can. He's gonna
Yep,
run
he came in a little high, but he made a break ball.
Well, I mean, that's a consolation prize.
He was
in this
taking
game
a shot
if I've
at
ever
just
heard
coming
one.
across. Yeah, he was taking a shot at just coming across and getting on those balls, knowing he had plenty of shots if it doesn't work out.
Right. But, I mean, now still needing to get down there. I wonder if he can sort of
Looks like he can
shoot
stop
this ball at the table.
stop his ball
yeah,
on the 13.
and then roll forward on the
Yeah,
tip off.
that sounds easy, doesn't it? Nobody's ever missed this shot.
Yeah, no, I mean, under pressure at all.
And he's took the right shot, and yeah, it's very, those are missable, but they go down doing the right thing. Just roll forward, just don't get on the rail.
Yeah, he takes so little time over the ball, too.
Yeah.
He just really gets
Just
down and
sees 'em.
fires. Youth.
Get in good position on this 15 ball. The ball on the rail up there is at the 15. Whatever it is, I'm going to call it that striped ball.
That's straight.
That's the key to this little rack. Getting the right angle here is the key to it.
Absolutely.
Usually using key balls, they're out in the middle of the table, like this 10 ball.
Difficult.
They're the worst key balls.
Super difficult to
Yeah.
get the right angle on them.
But that's what the table's dealing out, so he got a great angle. He's a little far from the ball for my taste, but he got a great angle.
I feel like he's not going to be particularly worried about this shot.
Well, he had to go to the rail.
He hit that harder than I thought he would, but
He's a little straight.
he is a little straight. You think he can come into one of the top 2 balls pretty flat?
Well, this ball's not going to roll off, I can tell you that much. I can't see exactly what the angle is, but
I feel like that's a safe assumption about this particular shot. I think here, if he can, he's going to try and go right into the 7 ball. Yep. Ooh, ball.
Ooh. Nice little nudge ski there.
That could have gone wrong.
That 4 goes under the 2 nicely. The world's looking a little brighter.
Still ways to go, though. If you're just joining us and missed the action, Albin got up and ran 118, and then had a funny little shot on a bridge and brought Konrad to the table.
They're doing a great job on the stream here.
Fantastic.
I love that they've got the little chyron up there on the top with the date and the year, because these matches have such a long shelf life. You know, you're going to be looking at these 10 years from now. And, you know, and enjoying them and comparing. It's funny to go back and you see those matches of Corey, you know, at 21 years old, or all these players when they were young. Well, here it is. You're going to get to see Albin and Konrad when they were young.
Corey also a really great straight pool player. Plays a really sort of classic version of the game and plays it very, very well. I like going back and
into
watching
these balls, but he threaded right through them. That was really unfortunate to thread right through them and then have these 2 balls, the 5, the pink and the 2 pinks down there bind up. Oh man.
Well, I think I mentioned a little earlier, but the peril of that, not knowing exactly what ball you're going into.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the life of straight pool. You've got to let it go. I mean, I don't know if that 7-10 combination is reasonable.
I mean, he's firing at it, so we're about to find out.
Ooh. Oh, well. No. Albin got off the hook easy.
Albin did get off the hook easy. I mean, that's another thing about this game is if one of the keys is to try and not miss balls that you really shouldn't, or some of the easier shots, I guess, that the other key would be you have to punish your opponent's mistakes. When they make them, you really need to seize that opportunity because you never know how long you're going to be in the chair.
Well, he's collecting himself and taking a minute to get to the table. He needs, 7 balls, and they're all sitting right there in the wide open. But this was the time to be careful. And you wouldn't think that it's possible to not get out from here, but
clearly you've never seen Jerry or I play, so
you had to put me in that list too.
Yes.
You weren't going to just go down
I wasn't
on
going
your
down
own.
by myself. Friends, Jerry, that's what you got. It's the cost of my friendship.
That was 2.
He tied up that 1 and 7, but I think he'll be okay. I mean, he needs.
Now we are
So
playing.
what he needs he needs 5 of these.
Yeah.
Right.
He needs 5 more. We all are playing all ball fouls as it should be. Now, this is a little bit funny though, because he goes and makes this ball. If he chooses to shoot that 13 next, he's going to go into the 5, and the cue ball is going to do some unpredictable things. You probably just use a little inside English, cruise right out to the middle of the table.
It's hard to tell how much space he has. He doesn't have enough to just come off the rail without hitting it, does he?
I don't think so. I think he's going to catch a little bit of, maybe, I don't know, we'll find out. I think a little inside English would come. Oh, no, I get straight in on that 10.
Yeah, so I think just a little
Roll
forward here for that 14 in the
so
side.
he just needs these 2?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right, the 14 and
I believe
the pink?
That's right.
Well,
And there we have it.